Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CX Live Dialogues. I'm delighted to have with us today Brad Murdoch, CEO of Deskpro, a global software company providing a secure AI-driven help desk platform. Prior to Deskpro, Brad held various executive positions in B2B software companies, including Aker, Pravoti, Framehawk, Ucona, and JBoss. Welcome, Brad. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
I'm very happy to be here.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of buzz around AI orchestrating changes in the way we interact with our customers. How do you believe AI is shaping CX to predict and proactively fulfill customer needs before they even arise?
That's a great question. There are so many really positive things that AI can bring to customer experience. One of the most interesting ones to me, certainly, is the ability to get signals from the communications with customers and clients, such as sentiment around how an end user is feeling, whether they might drop off from an engagement with your website or with your customer service team, whether there are particular features in your product that are heavily used and those that are not used. And those signals can be fed into typically generative AI, large language model, in order to be able to identify problem areas that could be addressed preemptively by the organization without necessarily the customer having to directly raise a particular concern. And in particular, this manifests itself not just in proactive, positive customer experience, it's also a very strong business tool in being able to detect intent that could potentially be a signal for churn risk in the future. So if a customer is increasingly getting unhappy and their interactions with the organization get increasingly tense, then that would be a signal that this customer is potentially ready to go away. And so CX leaders can really lean into the ability for AI to be able to detect those signals, proactively reach out to the customer, and hopefully prevent them from churning. So it's a fantastic use of AI for customer experience. And then as we go further with this, being able to have the AI learn and be able to use more of the feedback that's being received about what's working, what's not working, and have the knowledge, if you like, the knowledge base that is being used to be able to drive the customer experience improve. It's a great opportunity for organizations to really be able to deliver true improved customer experience by leveraging the current capabilities of artificial intelligence.
Certainly. Now, with this new pivot that you've just spoken about with AI, there's also a rise in omnichannel experiences that are transforming customer interactions. How can businesses effectively integrate various channels to create a seamless and cohesive customer journey? And what role does technology play in achieving this integration?
So most organizations today are no longer in a situation where they can have a single channel of communication with their customers. You know, it could previously in the past have just been voice. You had a call center. It could previously, if a digital environment, maybe just be email. But nowadays, customers want to engage with a brand, with an organization in the way that suits them, and maybe in multiple different ways depending on where they are. So for example, you might raise a ticket while you're at work using email. You might then follow up on that through a text message. You might want to be able to use Slack at a particular time or Microsoft Teams. You may have, if it's a consumer brand, you may have social channels that you're monitoring. And effectively, what's important is that the platform should enable the organization to be able to handle any of those communications from any of those channels in a single context. And then when you apply AI to this, it becomes very, very interesting because you can start allowing the platform to be able to be informed by data that it's receiving. And in particular, we see that the technology becoming more open and connected with the rise of protocols such as MCP, which allows effectively applications to be exposed to various AI capabilities that maybe AI agents, for example, and the ability to be able to integrate with enterprise data. All of that means that whatever channel that your customer is communicating with, they should be able to get a fast and accurate answer through the platform, which might need to draw on an AI agent, may need to be able to access enterprise systems or applications or data or knowledge base or help desk tickets. However, the information can be garnered, the AI should be able to provide a response to either a human agent or to an AI chatbot in order to be able to optimize a very quick and hopefully accurate response to the customer. So we're seeing a real improvement in the ability for AI to be a lot more effective if you have the scenario where you're able to expose it to enterprise data. And that obviously is something that is very dependent on security and compliance and data privacy and so on. But assuming that you can get really, really great results.
Thank you, Brad. That's been a very good example of frictionless service that organizations can embark upon. Now, obviously, as with everything else, there's a lot of new technologies that they can adopt. One of these being the human agents that are now coming in. So how do you believe that the new technologies that now organizations are embracing to empower their customer journeys, how can human agents now deliver that empathetic, exceptional customer service that obviously customers are looking for?
So, I think I think every leader in customer experience would suggest that their goal was to give outstanding customer experience. There's no question that that's the goal. The challenge is often doing it within the constraints that you live in. In many cases, the human agents are overloaded. There are so many, there are only so many hours in the day. There are only so many people that are available to be able to respond to the customer. And in many cases, the human agents are literally overloaded. And so one of the great opportunities with applying technology to the problem, particularly AI, is that we can put in place strategies now that allow the maximum amount of the low value interactions with a customer to be done by AI. And that allows the human agents to be able to focus on the more high value. So for example, if you employ an AI chatbot and you have that chatbot appropriately enabled with access to the relevant data from your knowledge base, your help desk tickets, your enterprise systems, then the chatbot is actually able to, in many cases, give fast, accurate responses to the simple or repetitive queries that, frankly, if a human agent is asked those, it's just a distraction for them. It's like, you know what, it's in our knowledge base. You could have gone to read this yourself, but you've come to me, I'm going to respond. And so being able to have that ticket deflection where AI can accurately and swiftly give customers good answers to the simpler questions means that a human agent has more time to be able to focus on the customer. And when they're speaking with a customer or they're creating an email or they're coming into a Slack channel, they're able to spend more time thinking about the nuance of a reply. They're able to think about how a customer would receive this type of information and how best it would solve their problems. And so what we find at Deskpro is that organizations that are deploying this effectively are not just seeing that their agents are able to be more empathetic and be able to give better responses to their customers. We're also seeing a lower turnover of those agents because the frustration level of having to do lots of simple tasks and being overwhelmed with a large number of tickets is dramatically reduced, allowing them to do the more interesting things and really focus on their customer. And that's a much more satisfying experience for a customer agent.
Certainly. Now, we've seen this buzz of AI for a while now, and yet there's still enterprises that are sitting on the fence evaluating where they should incorporate and embed AI technology. What do you feel has held enterprises back from adopting AI and their support operations as of now?
Well, there are many, many reasons why organizations, as you say, kind of still sitting on the fence a little bit or on the sidelines. Completely understandable for a couple of reasons. The first one I would say is there are legitimate concerns by many organizations related to the security, compliance, data sovereignty, data privacy when you're engaging AI. And one of the main reasons for this is that typically the AI that is used to power customer experience and help desk platforms is running in one of the public clouds. It's typically running on AWS or on Azure or on Google Cloud. And those environments are pretty much as secure as you can get from a public cloud perspective. But the reality is, in order for an LLM, for generative AI to work, it needs data that it can read. The data needs to be unencrypted. And so if you have a customer experience platform, SaaS platform typically that's running in the public cloud, it's going to connect to a foundation model service. So you want to get access to OpenAI, for example, you want to get access to GPT, or you want to get access to Claude from Anthropic or Mistral, or whatever the LLM is to deliver the AI to your service. That's got unencrypted data in the public cloud. Now, for many organizations, that's okay, but there are a whole lot of chief information security officers, chief privacy officers, where that is just a major problem for them. And so it's completely understandable that they are not allowing their teams to be able to access AI and have this risk. In some cases, it's compliance, it's regulatory risk, and in some cases, it's just appropriate concern around data leakage. But that is a big, major problem. And so this is one of the things that we're addressing at Deskpro, enabling organizations to be able to deploy their help desk platform into virtual private cloud, where you can use encrypted communications to the LLM, or deploy in a sovereign cloud, like we would see in the EU or in UAE, for example, or deploy into even an enterprise data center. Large organizations still have those. And if you can do that and access the AI within the security perimeter, then you don't risk that exposure. So that's certainly one major area why people have been on the sidelines. The other area is also, it's related, which is that organizations that have maybe done a pilot, maybe done a trial, have seen mixed results because the LLMs can still hallucinate. And there's been skepticism about the ability to deploy it effectively and actually improve customer experience. If a customer gets wrong answers from a chatbot, that's worse than getting no answer from a chatbot. And so that is a legitimate concern. And so the way to resolve this is to be able to improve the knowledge that the AI is able to draw on. So indexing help desk tickets, indexing knowledge base, giving access to websites and wikis, potentially, if you've got the right security model, being able to allow access to maybe your data lake or other enterprise applications. That enables the AI and maybe an AI chatbot to be able to get the source data that allows it to give accurate responses to your customer. So without that comfort level, you completely understand why an organization would not want to deploy AI. They'd get worse customer service. But we think having the appropriate security model, giving access to the right enterprise data can allow the AI to be genuinely effective. And that, we believe, over time is going to influence those that are still skeptical or concerned about having a negative impact on customer experience to change their views and be able to adopt the technology.
Indeed. Thank you, Brad. It's been a pleasure to have you join us today, and we look forward to meeting you and the Deskpro team at the Customer Experience Live show in Dubai in April. Until then, stay safe.
Thank you very much. Very much looking forward to the event.
Likewise. Bye for now.